All right, let's just jump right into this because it is an absolute masterclass in manufactured tension. We're going to break down how a survival challenge that seems pretty simple on the surface actually becomes this really complex psychological game with $500,000 on the line.
Okay, so picture this. We start with two complete strangers, and they are trapped 100 feet up in the air on this tiny little platform. I mean, this whole scenario is designed for maximum pressure, both physically and mentally, right from the get-go.
And what's the prize for toughing it out for 30 days? $250,000. We're talking life-changing money. But, you know, the game is set up to make earning it anything but easy. Now this is where it gets interesting. The producers didn't just pull two names out of a hat. No way. They specifically chose two people they called complete polar opposites. So on one side, you've got Allison. She's a demolition expert, super practical, no nonsense. And on the other side, Angus, a star from a UK dating show. This contrast, well, it's the first key ingredient in this whole social experiment.
And here's the thing, this is way more than just a survival challenge. The producers baked this brilliant, kind of devious twist into the rules, and it completely flips the script. It goes from a game of cooperation to a potential game of sabotage.
So this is the core of the whole thing, right here. From the very beginning, they both have a massive financial incentive for their partner to fail. It's like a classic prisoner's dilemma, but playing out 100 feet in the air. So every time they help each other, deep down, they have to know they'd be a whole lot richer if they were just up there alone.
So you have to wonder, right? How does all this built-in tension actually play out when the pressure is really on? Well, the game starts throwing in these challenges where teamwork is supposed to be the key, but that little voice telling them to let the other person fail is always there.
So the first real test pops up on day 5. It's a challenge all about teamwork and precision. You win, you get some comfort, these nice fancy tents. But if you lose, well, the penalty is harsh. You lose the tents, and a chunk of your physical space disappears.
Allison, our demolition expert, she just nails it. First try, hits the target, but Angus, oh man, he's under the lights and he just crumbles. Misses all 3 shots, and he just straight up admits, the pressure got to me. And boom, just like that, you see how brutal this game is designed to be. Failure has real, immediate physical consequences. Their entire world literally shrinks, all because one of them couldn't handle the heat.
Just 5 days later, they turn up the heat even more. This time, it's an endurance challenge, and it's all about focus and trust. For a full 24 hours, one of them has to be awake, has to be vigilant at all times.
So Allison's asleep. She's trusting Angus to keep watch, and he gets distracted. He falls asleep, and just a tiny lapse in concentration leads to disaster. Again.
So here we are halfway through the competition, and their platform has been literally cut in half. 2 major failures, and both of them are on Angus. This has just dramatically cranked up the danger and the difficulty of their situation.
So by day 15, you can just feel the weight of all this on Angus. I mean, he's been responsible for every single loss they've had. You can see him just spiraling, and it leads him to this desperate, do-or-die moment.
He volunteers for this insane balance beam challenge, trying to redeem himself, trying to finally get a win. But the pressure is just way too much. He falls, and his journey is over. And just like that, Allison is the only one left, and she's now in line for the entire prize.
And just like that, the whole game changes. Act 2 begins. With Angus gone, the conflict isn't person versus person anymore. Now it's person versus self. Allison has the money practically in her hands. But first, she has to survive, all alone.
So now Allison is all by herself, and she's battling this extreme boredom and isolation on a platform that is dangerously small. To cope with it, she actually personifies a cooler, names it Angus. I mean, think about how lonely you'd have to be to start talking to a cooler.
Her new daily challenge is to shoot a balloon with a bow and arrow. Simple enough, right? Except every time she misses, she loses another piece of the floor. And as you can pretty clearly see from this chart, yeah, the isolation and constant pressure are taking a toll. She misses a lot. And this is what's so fascinating. Her whole perspective just flips. Being out there by herself under all that pressure, it makes her empathize with Angus, the very guy whose failures put her in this spot. For the first time, she really understands just how incredibly hard it is to perform when everything is on the line.
Okay, so all of this has been building up to the final day, day 30, and you just know there's going to be one last gut-wrenching twist that puts everything she's been through into a whole new light.
So after everything she's endured, she's faced with this one final, impossible choice. It's an ultimatum that really tests her. It's a choice between total security and the chance at an even bigger fortune.
Here are the options. Option A, walk away with a guaranteed $250,000. Not bad, right? Or Option B, she can walk the exact same balance beam that took Angus out of the game to double her money to $500,000. But if she falls, she goes home with absolutely nothing. I mean, can you even imagine? Her family's there, Angus is back watching, and after this huge internal struggle, she makes the call. She takes the safe money. She decides that securing her future is way more important than the thrill of the gamble. But you know, they couldn't just leave it at that, right? They had to know, what if? So just for fun, she tries the beam. And she makes it across one way, but on the trip back, she loses her balance and falls. It's the most dramatic proof possible that she made the absolute 100% right choice. This whole thing is just such a fascinating look at risk and pressure and knowing yourself. It really shows how easy it is to judge someone else's failures when you're on the sidelines and how hard it is to make a smart choice when your pride and a fortune are on the line. Which really just leaves us with one final thought. If you were in her shoes, what would you have done?